In a world that thrives on noise, endless opinions, and emotional reactions, silence can feel like a rebellion. We live in times where responding quickly, loudly, and publicly is often mistaken for strength. We're constantly pushed to defend ourselves, explain our choices, and fight for recognition. But what if I told you that real power, genuine, unshakable power, lies not in how loudly you speak, but in how calmly you walk away? The wisdom of ancient Stoic philosophy offers a different way. It teaches that we don't need to react to everything. In fact, the ability to choose silence in the face of chaos is a sign of inner mastery, not weakness. When someone disrespects you, when life feels unfair, or when you're provoked into conflict, what if your most powerful response is no response at all? This isn't about passivity. It's not about letting others walk over you. It's about understanding what you control and choosing peace over pointless struggle. Silence, when practiced with intention, becomes a declaration. It's a way of protecting your energy, preserving your dignity, and communicating on a level deeper than words. Today, I want to share with you the reasons why learning to walk away in silence could be the most liberating decision of your life. These ideas aren't based on trends or self-help slogans. They come from centuries-old wisdom, Stoic principles that helped individuals endure adversity, lead with clarity, and live with resilience. By the end of this journey, you'll see that silence is not emptiness. It's strategy, it's self-respect, and above all, it's freedom. Let's explore the silent path of strength and why it might just be the most powerful move you'll ever make. Part 1. Choosing detachment. Imagine this. Someone insults you at work. They make a passive-aggressive comment, expecting you to snap back. The usual reaction? Tension rises. Your heart races. You want to defend yourself, to put them in their place. But what if instead, you do nothing? Detachment is not apathy. It's not about being cold or emotionless. It's a deliberate decision to protect your energy by not feeding the drama. The Stoics believed that power lies not in changing others, but in mastering yourself. When you practice emotional detachment, you're not pretending not to care. You're choosing what deserves your attention and what doesn't. In a world full of bait, comments designed to provoke you, criticism aimed at your self-worth, detachment is your armor. It confuses those who expect a fight. They expect anger, but get serenity. They expect a storm, but meet stillness. Marcus Aurelius once wrote that we cannot control the actions of others, only our responses. And in that response, or lack thereof, we discover real freedom. Next time you're provoked, breathe. Observe the urge to. Part 2. The authority of silence. Silence is often misunderstood. Some see it as avoidance. Others view it as surrender. But when you choose silence intentionally, especially in tense situations, you're not escaping, you're reclaiming power. Think of the last time a heated argument escalated because of impulsive words. One insult led to another, voices rose, and nothing was resolved. Now imagine pausing instead, holding back. Letting silence take the space where reaction used to be. That pause, that breath, is where real strength is born. Silence allows you to observe, reflect, and decide with wisdom rather than impulse. It gives weight to your words when you finally do speak, and it sends a clear message: I am in control of myself. In a noisy world, silence is startling. It disrupts patterns. It makes people pay attention. When someone expects resistance and meets stillness instead, they're forced to reflect on their own actions. Silence doesn't mean you're powerless. It means you're no longer wasting energy on what's beneath you. The Stoics use silence as a method of clarity. Socrates, known for his wisdom, listened more than he spoke. He used silence to understand others and himself. That kind of silence is not passive, it's deeply active. Silence also protects your dignity. You don't need to prove yourself to those who misjudge you. You don't need to explain your worth. Let your absence speak louder than arguments. Let your calm unsettle their chaos. Practicing silence teaches you to value your words, to speak only when it adds value, to pause not just in conflict, but in everyday life, to listen more, to others and to yourself. Eventually, you'll realize that silence is not a void. It's a space filled with power, presence, and self-respect. And once you master it, few things can shake your peace. Part 3. Reclaiming your focus. When everything around you competes for your attention, opinions, criticisms, expectations, it's easy to lose track of what actually matters. But here's the truth. If you don't protect your focus, someone else will claim it. Silence helps you tune out the noise and reconnect with your priorities. You don't need to justify your dreams to everyone. Not every opinion is valuable. Not every voice deserves your time. Choose who you listen to. Choose when to speak. And most importantly, choose to stay focused. Silence is a boundary. It says, I don't need to prove myself to you. I'm not here to argue, I'm here to build. And the more you focus, the more your actions will speak for you. Part 4. Emotional intelligence through stillness. We're often told to control our emotions, but few explain how. The Stoics offer a simple, powerful starting point. Pause. Before reacting, take a breath. Before speaking, reflect. This tiny space between stimulus and response is where wisdom grows. Anger, frustration, sadness, they're not the enemy, they're signals. But when you act on them without reflection, they become chains. Silence gives you time to examine those feelings before they take over. This is emotional intelligence, recognizing what you feel without letting it define your behavior. When you remain silent, you can ask yourself, why am I feeling this? Is this emotion guiding me or controlling me? You begin to see patterns. You start noticing that many of your emotional reactions are not about what's happening now, but about what's happened before. Silence lets you respond from awareness, not habit. Journaling can help. Meditation too. Anything that invites you to be still with your thoughts teaches you that you are not your anger. You are not your fear. You are the observer. And the observer holds the power. With time, this self-awareness becomes your default. You stop reacting. You start responding. And in doing so, you become more than emotionally intelligent. You become emotionally free. Part 5. Walking away without apology. So many of us are conditioned to seek approval, to need validation for our choices, our emotions, even our silence. But the Stoics knew that this dependency is a trap, because when you need others to agree with your decisions, you've handed them control over your peace. Walking away quietly, without explaining, without seeking approval, that's freedom. You don't need a round of applause to confirm that you did the right thing. You don't need anyone to agree that your silence was justified. When you trust yourself, that's enough. The desire to be understood, to be praised, is natural, but it's not always necessary. You don't owe an explanation for every boundary you set, or every moment you choose peace over chaos. When you no longer seek approval, you become truly self-directed. And that's where real growth begins. You stop asking, will they accept this? And start asking, is this aligned with my values? Let silence be your vote of confidence in yourself. Not out of arrogance, but out of deep self-respect. Part 6. The strength of boundaries. Silence doesn't mean allowing disrespect. It means choosing your battles and asserting your boundaries without noise. There's a misconception that being calm is the same as being passive. That's false. Being calm means you've mastered the art of response. You can draw the line without shouting. You can say, "This is not okay," without raising your voice. Boundaries, when set with dignity, don't require drama. They require clarity. And silence can be the most effective way to communicate that clarity. You don't need to fight to protect your worth. You need to stand firm. You need to be consistent. And sometimes, the most powerful message is walking away with your head held high. Boundaries built in silence are not invisible. They are unshakable. Part 7. Accepting the uncontrollable. One of the most liberating lessons from Stoicism is this: not everything is up to you, and that's okay. You cannot control the behavior of others. You cannot prevent every insult, every disappointment. But you can control what you carry. You can choose whether to react or to release. Acceptance doesn't mean you condone poor treatment. It means you refuse to let it steal your peace. You recognize what's out of your hands, and you stop wasting energy trying to change it. This mindset leads to serenity. You begin to navigate life with more patience, more clarity, and you realize that what's truly powerful isn't forcing change, but staying composed when change doesn't come. Part 8. Emotional mastery through the pause. Anger is fast. It rushes through us like fire. In the face of disrespect, our instinct is often immediate. Defend, attack, speak. But what if the greatest show of power is not reacting at all? Seneca, one of the great Stoic minds, warned that anger is a poor advisor. It makes promises it can't keep. It pushes us toward decisions that rarely serve us. And once the emotion passes, we're often left with regret. The Stoic solution? Pause. Not forever. Not to avoid confrontation. Just long enough to reclaim your mind from the grip of emotion. In that pause, you ask yourselves, is this reaction useful? Does it reflect who I want to be? What consequence will follow if I act now? You don't lose time by pausing. You gain perspective. You re-enter the situation with clarity rather than chaos. This moment of stillness is not about suppression. It's not pretending you're not angry. It's about holding space for the emotion, observing it, then choosing what to do with it. And the more you practice this pause, the more your emotions become your allies, not your enemies. You don't suppress what you feel. You rise above it. You feel anger, but you're not ruled by it. You feel hurt, but you don't become it. Over time, you begin to notice that many situations no longer pull you into reaction. You respond less. You reflect more. And in doing so, you create a sense of inner strength that others can feel, but few can shake. Mastering the pause means mastering yourself. And in a world that reacts to everything, your stillness becomes a statement. I am not here to be controlled. I choose who I become. Part 9. Empathy as a Stoic superpower. Empathy isn't often associated with Stoicism, but it should be. True Stoic strength isn't cold detachment. It's deep understanding. It's realizing that behind every insult, every act of disrespect is usually pain, fear, or confusion. When someone lashes out, our instinct is to take it personally. But what if it has nothing to do with you? What if they're simply reflecting their own inner battles? This doesn't mean you excuse bad behavior. It means you stop internalizing it. Empathy gives you distance, a new lens to view the situation from. You ask not just why me, but what's going on in them. Many people hurt others because they're hurting. Some act out because they feel unseen, unheard, or unloved. And while that doesn't justify their actions, it explains them. When you approach conflict with empathy, you protect your peace, you de-escalate situations, and you model a higher standard of conduct, not for them, but for yourself. Responding with empathy doesn't mean staying silent forever or accepting mistreatment. It means your response is guided by wisdom, not by your ego. It's about seeing the humanity in others, even when they forget to show it themselves. And most importantly, empathy makes you stronger, not weaker. It frees you from resentment. It keeps your heart open, and it reminds you that no one else's behavior defines your worth. So next time someone disrespects you, take a breath, step back, ask yourself, is this truly about me? You might find that your empathy disarms them more than anger ever could. Part 10. The serenity of letting go. We try so hard to control everything. How others see us, how they treat us, what they say, what they think. But the more we try to control what's not ours to command, the more anxious and frustrated we become. The Stoics taught a simple, powerful truth. There are things you control and things you don't. Your power lies in knowing the difference. You cannot control the weather. You cannot control the market. You cannot control whether someone likes you or respects you. But you can control your response, your mindset, your choices. This idea changes everything. When someone disrespects you and you react with fury, you've given them your peace. When you obsess over their opinion, you've handed them your worth. But when you let go, when you accept what's out of your hands, you reclaim your life. Letting go is not defeat. It's liberation. It's saying, I do not need this person's approval to feel valuable. It's recognizing, I cannot change this event, but I can choose how to move forward. This is serenity, not the absence of conflict, but the refusal to be ruled by it. Think of the ocean. Storms come and go, but the depth of the sea remains still. That's the kind of serenity Stoicism teaches. A calm that exists beneath the surface, untouched by the chaos above. You don't need to prove anything to the world. You don't need to argue your value. Walk away when needed. Stay silent when it serves you. Let go when it brings you peace. And when you live like this, when you stop chasing control and start embracing serenity, you become unshakable. You move through life with grace. You respond rather than react. You build a peace no one can take from you. This is not weakness. This is the highest strength. Silence is not an escape. It is an act of courage, an act of power. It is saying, I choose myself. I choose my peace. I choose my path. The world will continue to provoke, to pull, to test your composure. But now, you know better. You've seen that walking away in silence is not giving up, it's leveling up. It's not your job to teach everyone a lesson. It's not your duty to argue your worth. Your responsibility is to yourself, to protect your energy. Silence gives you the space to breathe, reflect, and lead. Empathy frees you from the chains of resentment. The pause saves you from regret, and letting go brings you peace greater than control ever could. This is the quiet power of Stoicism, and it's available to you. Every time you choose not to react, every time you walk away, every time you protect your peace over your pride. So today and every day, remember, you don't need to shout to be strong. You don't need to fight to prove your worth. Sometimes the loudest thing you can say is nothing at all.